Good evening and welcome to About the Valley, and this is our final week for the summer.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Okay. I'm
Yeah.
honored to be on the final episode then.
Yeah.
When do you pick it back up? September?
Yeah, September.
Provided we're all still alive in here and COVID
Yeah,
hasn't
no.
wiped us all out.
Right, yeah, by then COVID will have wiped us out.
Yeah.
But Joe is my guest again this week. And also, don't forget, you can tune into Joe
Yep.
every, well, you're not doing Sundays anymore.
Well, yeah, I'm on just an hour later.
Just
Instead
an
of
hour,
6,
yeah.
I'm on at 7
7
o'clock
to
on
8.
Sunday mornings, 6 to 8 Saturday mornings,
Yep.
AM 830 WCRN, streaming on TuneIn app live. Plus, we stream Facebook. So if you go to the Joe Mangiacotti radio show or Joe Mangi on Facebook, it's streaming live audio.
And Thursdays from
Yep.
11 to 12.
11 to 12, I am the political commentator on Making Money Last with Jerry Doherty.
Yep.
Great show. He's in his 7th year of doing that Monday through
Yep.
Friday. Awesome show. So Thursdays he's decided it's because politics and your money, if you haven't realized it yet, go hand in hand.
Oh, do they ever?
So, it's a very good idea, he thinks, to spend one day a week
Yep.
looking at the political landscape and seeing what's happening.
I mean, you watch the market, one little statement, and it's either up or it's down.
Yeah. And you got a guy in the Oval Office who understands that better than anyone ever has
Yes.
understood that. And I think sometimes I think he amuses himself sometimes when he messes with the media.
Yeah.
I think he does. Yeah.
I mean, one thing you got to say. We always wanted to have someone in there that wasn't going to lie.
Oh, gee, I got to say, Harry, I've done talk radio for a long time, and over the years, this was a common call, right? Can we have a politician who doesn't check which way the wind's blowing every time they speak, right? Like Bill Clinton, let's see, and who just says what everybody's thinking, doesn't lie, tells it like it is. You get that guy, and everybody's like, oh my God, he's not very presidential. Look at how he says all these things. Well, make up your mind. You guys, you asked for it, you got the guy, and now you can't handle that guy.
The last time this happened was Ronald Reagan,
Yeah.
and all the commentators said, he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do. Well, hell, why do you think we elected him?
That's the best part is the entrenched, swamp in Washington, D.C. are like, what are you doing? You're following through on all your promises. We don't do that. You're making us look bad.
Yeah.
We're used to not having to do this. And he has. And, the net job numbers came out, and again, right, almost 3 million, and we're at a lot. Look, I think I said this when I was on here before. I hate that they put the term the stimulus package on the $3 trillion. The point is, we don't need a stimulus package. We were as stimulated as the economy could possibly be.
Yes.
And it's raring to go, but it's being held down unconstitutionally at this point, right?
Yep.
And so it's not a stimulus. It was a Band-Aid, and it was a make you feel good. Meanwhile, Pelosi in that or at all, that clutch, right, that the loony left in Washington inside the belt. Look what they're trying to slide into these things, what they already tried and what they're trying to do with the new one. And I agree with a couple of the senators who are saying, whoa, let's see what this $3 trillion we just did. Relax. But they're trying to slip in stuff about airline omissions, Green New Deal stuff, right? Checks in immigration. They're trying to slip in federalizing the election process. Can you imagine federalizing the election
Yes.
process? The election process should always be done locally, and I think it should always be done pen and paper, never online.
Each state monitors their own election process
And it's the way it should
because we are the United States.
be. Right.
That's the way it was set up. That's why you have an electoral college.
The worst thing we can do is federalize the elections or allow this ballot harvesting. Can you
Yeah.
imagine the fraud and don't even start, right? You get there's no fraud. Proof that there's fraud. Go to my webpage, go to my Facebook page, constantly sharing articles about finally somebody does a little of the homework and they find out, oh, you know what? There were 1,800 dead people voted last time around. What about in 2016, all of those college kids that went up to New Hampshire, same-day registration, same-day voter registration? Yeah, I'm going to move in. Let's go back. I'd like to know how many of them moved in. How many of them changed their residence to New Hampshire? And the ones that didn't, I think they should be gone after.
They did a survey on that by checking how many went down and got their license?
It's next to nothing.
It was next to nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
like about half a dozen or so.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
unbelievably low compared to what had voted.
Yeah. And all of it, look at that. Why is any, please, there's a number, right? 508-266-0990.
Yep.
I'm telling you, go ahead. Convince me why we shouldn't have voter ID. And, they say, well, it's oppression and it. No, look at, we have ID for everything else, right? We're being now told unconstitutionally we have to wear masks in our shower. I mean, it's ridiculous. Look, voter ID should be required. It makes no sense that it isn't, and it's not racist. It's not oppression. You have an ID for everything else in the world that we do, and it's
Their
required.
problem is with voter ID, the illegals wouldn't be able to vote.
That's the point, right? That's the point for both ways. Why I think it should be there. Look, voting is such a valuable commodity that we have, right? It should be looked upon that way. Think about it. If it's one of the most valuable things that you possess as a citizen is your right to vote, why isn't that protected at least as good as your credit card is?
But when you got places like San Francisco saying that illegals can vote in city elections.
Yeah, that's opening the door, folks.
Yeah.
It's a slippery slope. It's the first step into it because you're setting a precedence, and why not? They're going to allow, in California, in certain communities, they're allowing illegals to hold elected office.
How many countries in the world? Over 200 countries, 300 and something, isn't it? Different countries. How many of them allow non-residents to vote?
Without checking this, I'm assuming no one.
No one, no.
I'm assuming no one. I'm pretty confident that no one does.
So why should we do it?
Well, why should we have any less immigration laws than Mexico, our neighbors
Yeah.
to the south, do? Have you ever read their immigration laws?
They're tough.
Yeah, they are tough. And every once in a while, I'll not identify it, and I'll go through what they are in the air, and then I'll ask people what they think, and they're like, well, those are tough. Oh, we can never do that in that country. That's so racist and unfair. Well, actually, these are actually already Mexico's. And it's quite a reaction. Of course, people get a little pissed at you when they feel like you took them.
Yeah.
With the truth.
In fact, immigrating to other countries is tougher for an American to do than
Yeah.
we have coming here.
Yeah. Look, it's very simple, right? We're a sovereign nation. You don't have to, agree to that. It's fact. We're a sovereign nation. By definition, we have borders. We have borders, and we have the right to secure those borders. We have every right in the world as a country to know who's entering the country, what their background is. And yeah, we have a process, your medical records, your criminal records, even your mental health records.
Yeah.
And when you violate that, then the whole system begins to break down. And we already have places or immigration in place for workers. And the president, when he was tightening up and talking about tightening up during COVID-19, he said, don't worry about the farm workers and stuff. We know. And that's a simple thing, Harry. Why not? We can have a worker permit that you can come and you
Right.
can work. We want to know who you are.
Right.
You are. Your real name and who you really are. Come, work, pay taxes, put money into the economy. I'm fine with all that. But when we get to the asylum, Harry, right? Oh, the asylum and oppression. We have, right, 36 points of entry into the United States. Pick any one of them, go there and say, I seek asylum. I would like asylum. Immediately, there's a process that kicks in. We already have systems in place for all of these, issues that you bring
Asylum
forward.
doesn't mean that I just want to move here.
No, it doesn't. Exactly.
You've got to justify.
It's supposed to be a justified, and that's why there is immediately a process isn't kicked in, and part of that process is getting in front of a judge. There's a hearing to hear why you need asylum. And if that judge at all thinks that you're in danger of being sent back, you will not be sent back.
I'm glad I was lucky enough to be born in this country.
That's funny that, okay, I'm sorry, go ahead. I don't know
But if I wasn't, what am I supposed to do? I'd love to win the lottery.
Yeah.
I'd love to have been born to extremely wealthy parents.
Yeah, I would have too. Right, we all would have. But I thought you were going to, because maybe it's on my mind, I thought you were going to say, I'm glad that I was born when I was born. And this thought has entered my mind in the last couple of years, that I'm not that old. I still have a few years left, but I think about my, grandchildren and great nieces
Oh.
and nephews, and I'm like, what will the America be if we stayed on the Obama path? What will it be like? At least, I got to live the majority of my life in traditional America, and will I see it go down the tubes? I can't imagine what it is.
Look at everything. This for some reason, I don't know if maybe God is overlooking us. I don't want to get into religion, but
Yeah.
the
A lot of
thing
people
is,
believe Trump's election was in divine intervention. Seriously believe that.
look
yeah.
back, Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter came in after Nixon. Okay, Nixon had some. Well, actually, Gerald Ford. Gerald Ford, the only president never elected in a national election, but he came in at a time when we needed to heal and get better. But he didn't do anything to improve the country, get the economy back. So what do? We got Ronald Reagan, and things got better.
They got better because of the policies and because of the attitude. And Ronald Reagan was a Democrat, folks. Ronald Reagan said, I didn't leave the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party left
Yeah.
me. And that's very true, because the Democratic Party that when I was a kid, I remember
Was a
being
different party.
a very different party, and we were huge, Irish Catholic and Italian Catholic. JFK was huge in our house and all of that. So this is not, and neither is the
JFK
Republican
was a
Party.
different Democrat.
Yeah, he would be embarrassed by, if you looked at his policies, the JFK policies of the late 50s and early 1960s, by those standards, he would be a Republican today.
Well, the first thing he did was a tax cut.
Absolutely. And that famous speech he gave in New York, I think it was the Chamber of Commerce or something, where he talked about that,
Yeah.
And going back to Ronald Reagan, we saw that swing because Jimmy Carter, and Ronald Reagan was the first president I was old enough to vote for and voted for. And Jimmy Carter, look at the oil situation in the late 70s under him, OPEC and the lines. I was old enough to remember you could only get the gas depending on your license plate number and
Yes.
all that. Okay, so Reagan came in because everybody was like, whoa. And I think yesterday we had two special elections in the country, and one of them was the California 25th congressional seat that has been held by a Democrat since 1998, and it went Republican in a special election, and so did Missouri or Kentucky. There was
No,
another special one.
Wisconsin.
I'm sorry. So Wisconsin. So two special elections, both went
There was a
Republican.
Missouri one, I believe, earlier in the year that also went.
So hopefully that's foreshadowing, because the only way that we can stop this, is really we got to slap the House.
Well, you know something? When I heard that, I said, if that would have went Democrat, the
It'll be
press would have
plastered
been
all over.
a bellwether. It's
Yeah.
a bellwether.
Yeah.
Well, isn't it still a bellwether?
Yeah. No, it's gotten very little coverage. And they didn't even cover too much of it, the 25th in California, because he was looking good.
Yeah.
They didn't want to cover it because he was looking good, right? So they've been very quiet about it. So he's kind of been off the radar.
Even though they tried to pull a fast one by setting up that voting out in the park.
Oh, the voting scams that are going to be attempted, look, they know, that's why this ballot harvesting, the mail-in thing, cannot. We already have absentee and everything, that's enough, right? Do not federalize the voting. I know that we're saying this again, but it's very important because it needs to be local. And even Obama said it's too vast and, regional, broken down to control, that it can't be hacked. Well, we got to keep it that way. Anything that's online can be hacked, period.
Yep.
So it's way too important with what's going on.
I like them see probably standardize and use the same type of machines we use in Massachusetts.
As long as they're not made by a huge Democratic supporter.
But the
and
thing is,
contributor.
you have a paper ballot that you fill in, and then it's scanned. So there's,
But we've also found
there's
these
that
stories.
backup.
Yeah, we found these stories though of the machines that
Well, they have the
change
machines that are
votes.
pure computers
Yeah.
that you press. And remember last election, they would say, this one woman said that she kept on hitting the button, and it kept on coming up with the person she wasn't voting for. And when she questioned it, they said, oh, don't worry about it. Well, yeah, I do worry about it. Just know who I want to vote for.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now, what is being witnessed right now, right, and what we're finding out, and I think this is what will hurt the Democrats, because what Democrat is getting in front of what went on with General Flynn.
Yeah.
Okay? Now you got Judge Emmett here, who, what judge ever calls in another judge like this? And he's already has demonstrated his bias over and over. This should be absolute change of venue. This guy probably should be impeached as a judge, at least called in under review, right? It's absolutely, he's trying to drag this out in hopes that it all goes away because Trump isn't reelected and they're back to where we would have been if Hillary
Well,
was.
then they could prosecute
Everybody.
Flynn again.
Oh, the Flynn, Trump. You don't think
Yeah.
that the Democrats are going to try to, once he's out of office, whether it's 21 or 20, say, 25, you don't think they're going to try to prosecute him for the rest of his life? I mean, thank God for him, he's got the money and stuff to live wherever he wants and to fight him. But
Well, the thing is, if they do try to prosecute him, they're doing it to try to cover up themselves.
Of course
It's
it
coming
is.
out now.
they need all of the stooges. However, okay, it's starting to turn in these times because they're seeing that you've got Barr and his team in there, and they're turning the stuff over. The rats are coming out now. They're going to
Well-
flip. They've already started to flip because they're going to make a deal. They realize people are going
There's
to start going to jail.
documentation now.
Oh yeah.
It's not just someone's word. It's documentation, and they can't deny it.
Yeah.
Even though they tried to. I think it was one of the former head of the CIA.
Brennan.
Yeah. They asked him, and he said, "Well, I don't remember doing that."
Yeah, unmasking, and this is something. And look at even Joe Biden, right? I was never. All of a sudden, it comes out. You were actually in that meeting.
Yeah,
where
but now
this
he
was
doesn't remember
discussed,
it.
But now I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Well, Joe, you can't be both ways. Either you're sharp as a tack, you know everything going on, and you're qualified to be president, or you can't remember anything. You're not sure about anything, and you're certainly not qualified to be president.
Right.
And why isn't he required to go through the same mental agility test that they made Donald Trump go through? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
He needed to take all this test and everything. Well, look at, if anybody in our recent history was ever going to need the 25th Amendment pulled in, it would be Joe Biden.
Yep.
No question about it. He would be unfit. He'd be unfit for the presidency the day
Well,
one.
either he's unfit or he's a liar.
Yeah.
It's one or the other.
It is, yeah, absolutely. I think it's a combination of both. I think he's both unfit and a huge liar. He's already been proved a liar over and over again. And where is all of the now crowd and the Me Too movement when
Oh,
it comes to Tara Reid?
yeah.
Where did all that go? Why are they
they-
deathly silent here?
Their movement has been destroyed.
All credibility. Then you got
Yep.
Alyssa Milano out there, and but I'm still, well, you got Democrats still, right? Especially the ones in the short list for VP. Well, I believe Tara Reid, yeah, Joe is Joe. Literally, Nancy Pelosi said, well, Joe's Joe, so he's always been a creepy sexual predator, so Joe's Joe. It's okay. So what's the
That's what
deal
they
on
used to
this?
say
They've
about
all
Bill
lost
Clinton.
their credibility on this. If you
that-
just look at the way Brett Kavanaugh was treated versus this accusation.
Yeah.
And Tara Reid has a million times more than Blasey Ford ever did. She actually knows the date it happened, where she was, who was there. She talked to people about it. Her mother even called into Larry King and talked about it. Are you kidding me? It's time-stamped all over the place.
Yeah. But we can't believe her.
No. We believe that. Oh, here's your accusation. Joe went on to with Micah. I don't know if it was Morning Joe. I think it was Morning Joe. Went on Morning Joe. I don't remember it. It didn't happen. I don't remember it. And then he sent you on a wild goose chase about where to get the documents to the Senate. Secretary of the Senate said within 2 hours of him appearing. No, that isn't where those kinds of forms. Don't come here. That's not where that's handled. And then they went and they sealed University of Maryland, his papers there. And Daily Caller busted Biden operatives in there shuffling through the papers, like Berger did with Clinton. Remember Sandy Berger?
Yep.
They used to call him Burglar.
Burglar.
Sandy Burglar, yeah.
Yeah. Sandy Burglar. Walked out with his papers stuffed all through his clothes.
Pants, yeah. Put him down his pants to try to get out. That's worse. I mean, it's almost as bad as the guy trying to swallow the chits down in Florida during the election
Yes, yes, I remember
Remember
that
that?
one too.
to hide the chits to get it for Al Gore. Yeah, yeah,
But,
but voter fraud doesn't exist.
Right. But and let's get back to the COVID. I mean, I think we're reaching a point now that people have had it.
People
The
have
governor
that.
really is in a quandary here. He's got to do something May 18th. Now, he didn't announce anything today. He's being very
What's he going to announce?
quiet.
He's just look. I just hope that some people are getting to him and telling him you cannot continue to ruin the entire economy. You're destroying people's lives now.
Yep.
And look, we have destroyed the economy. We have trampled our constitutional rights and freedoms for a virus with a 99+% survival rate. When have we ever done anything like that in the past?
Right.
It's enough is enough, and that this whole mask wearing thing is, look, if you are afraid of possibly catching this, not to mention the fact that more people die from car accidents and alcoholism and fentanyl abuse and everything else than ever died of this. Put all that aside. If you're that afraid, nobody's making you leave your house. You
Right.
can mask up all you want.
You can do whatever you
Disinfect
want.
everything
Yeah.
you want. Never leave your house. Get a zero pressure, setup so wind's always blowing out your door. Whatever you want to do, you can do all that. But stop telling everybody else in the world how they have to conduct their business.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that if anything, I know they found some kids now. They say that have been affected.
The Kawasaki twist or strain or something. I don't
Yeah.
know enough about it.
Well,
to speak about it.
Kawasaki disease is a separate illness.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably what it is, but they're saying it's brought on by the COVID. Well, they don't know that for a
Everything
fact.
is brought on by COVID now. Now they're blaming everything. They're tying it in. So I had to go into the UMass the other day just to get blood and give blood and stuff. And the nurse talking to me is saying that actually, because of the way this is set up, these hospitals are getting money for every COVID patient.
Yeah.
So they're encouraged to attribute it however they can to COVID-19, and they get a check. That's kind of news to me. I don't know, but that certainly is worth a discussion, and that's worth
If
looking
that's
into.
true, I mean, that's how government works.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
So you encourage it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they say, if you want to encourage them, throw money at it.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, that's what they've done with a million things. But we've been on the war and poverty since the '60s. How's that going?
Yeah.
Did we win that war yet? We've thrown a lot of money. I mean, we've thrown so much money at it that we could have given everybody $1 million in the beginning of the war and poverty, and been set.
We would still be. They would have
It
blew
would
it
still
out.
be-
They would have
Exactly.
blew through it.
80-20 rule, folks. 80-20 rule. There's always going to be, and that's look. Now they're talking about $2,000 a month to everybody, for a year. Well, the COVID's 19. Look, socialism takes, capitalism makes. If you give everybody in the country $2,000 a month indefinitely, where is that coming from?
Not
And
only
nobody's
that-
talking about the fact that we continue to print all this money. What do you think? Hyperinflation. will
Oh
kick
my
in.
God, that 2,000 will be equal to $2 by the time they get done with the inflation.
Exactly.
And
What's that picture? Was it the guy the inflation and hit one of these third world countries, and he's with the wheelbarrow full of money going
Yeah.
down to buy a loaf of bread.
That was Germany after
Germany.
World War One.
Yeah. Worthless Deutschmarks. Yeah. My apologies. That's actually my theme song.
I know.
That should have been off.
But this is. I mean, you can't. The government cannot keep throwing money. Was it Margaret Thatcher that said,
Think
eventually
about other people. Yeah, about
you
socialism.
run out of other people's
That's
money?
right, yeah, Margaret Thatcher said that during the Reagan years. Yeah.
And it's true. You do. I mean, you can only throw so much.
Well,
And-
look, we don't even the federal coffers are running on fumes right now, right? The only thing, government can't give you anything they haven't taken from you. They've had to have taken it from someone else to give it to you. So taxation is the only way that there's any wealth, or we print the money and then we lessen the value of every dollar you've worked so
Well,
hard to
how
get.
about okay? They sent everybody $1,200.
Yeah, what has that done? Before we start
Yeah,
giving
but
another
Wiki-
3.3
All the
trillion.
stores are closed.
All the stores are closed. This is true. All the stores are closed. And then remember, we started to get the meat scare, right?
Yes.
And what happened to this issue? Because we've got the issue of, we're importing beef. We're one of the largest beef producers in the world, this country. Why are we importing beef, or why are we exporting our beef to China to be processed and then come back to us? I don't understand any of that. And that's why the Democrats don't want this, the labeling laws. And we should have to have that
Oh,
it's made in
100%.
where it's made, or where it's been processed,
Yeah, or where it's been assembled.
or where it's been assembled, right? Part of the whole process, and it's got to be. And they want to do away with that whole Made in America part of it as well in the proposed legislation. But getting back to this, to the $2.2 trillion, the point is, we haven't done this long enough to see the ripple effect. What did it do? Why do you want to write another check now? You know, and if you let people come back to work, we will figure it out, okay? My question to you is, if it's that dangerous and masks don't work, then how come all my friends that I've come to know that works a Price Chopper aren't dead today?
Yeah.
Why all these people who've been working in the grocery stores and Walmart, why aren't they all gone? They've figured it out. And why can Walmart handle it, but the local mom and pop shop can't? You don't think they can handle the sterilization as well as Walmart? I had to go to Walmart the other day, walk in, there's like a 16-year-old kid with a clipboard telling you got to wear a mask to go in. You tell me that is much, much more secure or more effective than the guy who is maybe the second-generation hardware store owner, that their entire life is wrapped up in this store, that they're not going to make sure that customers stay healthy?
Well, those stores are open too.
You know?
The hardwares are open.
Hard because I used a bad example because it's in the essential. But what about all these other stores that aren't considered essential? There's no reason for them to be closed.
Well, how can you say a clothing store is not essential? You need clothes.
You need you need everything that there is.
Yeah,
You get to it, you
that's the
need it
reason
at
there's
some
a
point or
store.
another. And as far as these restaurants, I mean, restaurants already are the one business among our businesses that have a Board of Health inspector checking for cleanliness already, right? So why not, Jim, simply tell them, look, you need to put in place some procedures. And if that's removing every other table, or there was something online today, a restaurant, instead of removing every other table, they actually put mannequins at every other table, so that at least they thought it would make you feel like
Makes it look like it's
I think
more full.
I think it's creepy as all get out. But that aside, look, the point is, they're clever, right? These store owners, they didn't get the store by not being clever and innovative and figuring out problems. Right, give them a set of guidelines, and if that is that they can only have 30 or 40% or 50% occupancy,
Well, there's a
they'll
problem
work
there
it
too,
out.
because some restaurants, if you limit them to even 50%,
Grant
they-
100%, but
they can't
that's
do
still
it.
better than the 100% of nothing right now.
right, but they can't make it on that.
They won't be able to make it. No.
No, their cost is higher than what they're gonna pull in.
No. And why is this going to change? This isn't an airborne item that kills you the moment it gets, right? Here in Massachusetts, we were looking at the numbers off the governor's website today. The average death in Massachusetts is still 82 years old, and nobody under 40.
And most
So
of them,
why aren't we protecting the most vulnerable elder, 65 and up or something?
most of the deaths are in nursing homes,
Yeah. Well, they've attacked the nursing homes, and we've seen what happened.
and they haven't closed them.
No. And actually, Governor Cuomo signed the executive order ordering them that they have to take COVID-19
Yeah.
patients, while he had 1,000-bed ship empty and 1,000-bed on the Samaritan's Purse. And, I mean, they basically didn't use these places. They were going to be for overflow. There was no overflow, so they switched them to COVID-19 patients. Nobody really needed them. But he forced, and the media's not because he's the right party. Why did you force nursing homes to take
The nursing homes
COVID-19?
didn't want it.
They didn't want him. It's why he signed the executive order.
Well, they like to fill their beds too, because they're getting paid.
Yeah, but absolutely, but they do not want to be infected with COVID-19 patients. The most vulnerable population that there is to COVID-19 is the
Right.
nursing home. They didn't have the option of saying, if they have COVID-19, they can't go to where old people live.
Right.
Send them to the Samaritan's Purse Hospital. Send them to the Comfort, floating in the harbor with nobody on it.
I know.
Why? Why? The whole ventilator thing. Cuomo made a big mistake with that. Well, first of all, he didn't replenish the ventilators when he should have. He was confiscating ventilators from upstate, and he was telling the president, I need 40,000. And Trump's instincts are good. He said, really? That seems like a lot. They didn't even use 4,000.
I know.
And at no time was there anybody in this country that needed a ventilator that did not have one.
No, and now we're exporting them.
Yes. Now we're sending them out to other countries who can't mobilize as fast. Look at the United States. We've proved it time and time again. Look at what happened in World War II. I mean, if we need to do something and mobilize this country, we'll do it on a dime. Look how fast. First of all, look how fast the president got the hospitals put up, and even the Comfort. They told them it was going to take weeks to, refit the Comfort. He said, no, you have 4 days.
Yeah, and they did
it
it.
was done in 4 days.
But not all with it. There are some governors out there that are smart enough. Like Newsom is gotten smart. He's going to let California open up based on area, which makes sense because
Right.
you've got some areas where there's no problems at all.
Look at New York. You can't judge entire New York from Manhattan.
No.
So if you're in Albany, Manhattan might as well be Dallas
You
to
get
you.
out to the lower tier on the Pennsylvania border, or up by the Adirondacks. A lot of small communities up there. They don't have any. There's no COVID up there at all.
No, there's no reason for it. I don't think there's any of course, I'm not that kind of doctor or anything, but look, if you are nervous about it, do what you need to do. Stop telling me I've got to wear. I mean, I love this. Driving around, you see somebody all by themselves in their car with a mask on.
I know.
And they're on the phone or whatever. You can see them talking through the mask, and it's like, Darwin would love this because you're the first should to go at national selection here. It's crazy. Enough. The businesses, you go to the grocery store, you can't put your stuff down until they wipe down the belt. I'm
Yeah.
not sure what that would matter much, but you know what? That was probably a pretty good idea. Should have been doing that just for the heck of it anyway. Every time there was a lull, you probably should have disinfected the belt, or maybe every 10th customer, you should have been doing that all along. But that aside, look at businesses will make the adjustments that they have to make. But let everybody, this is capitalist society, let everybody be a capitalist, and the government won't have to worry about writing checks.
Well, the thing is, if somebody sees that somebody's getting sick in a store, they're not going to shop there anymore. So
They're not going to shop, but also all these shop owners and gym owners and stuff have said, we're checking temperatures. We're saying to shop in, to come in. If you have a fever, you can't. You don't have to go to the store. If you want to shop, get your temperature taken and go in.
When they open the banks, how are they going to handle the mask?
Yeah, exactly, because they got all the lobbies are closed. But good point, right? And that's the irony that you see here. Here we are, the news cycle, despite the liberal media's attempt to downplay it, this whole Flynn thing, and now the Obama administration, all the unmasking. Well, we're being told to wear a mask everywhere we go. Yet unmasking is really the name of the game right now, because this unmasking of General Flynn has been ridiculous. In order to get an unmask, you need to have a reason. You've got to justify it, and you've got to have security clearance. There was like 35 people General Flynn was unmasked to, ambassadors and stuff that have. Why they have no need to know? Why are they getting privy to intelligence like that? Nothing. Everything stinks.
So it's obviously
with
a fishing expedition. They were trying
it
to
was
find
beyond
something.
a fishing expedition. They were targeting Flynn. You got to remember, Flynn was only in there for like 4 days, and
But he had worked in security under the Obama administration.
right. And the whole point is that he knew how messed up the intelligence agencies were, and they knew that when he was going in, he planned to revamp everything. And these intelligence agencies, including the FBI, and now that Comey and those have made FBI intelligence an oxymoron, but they had known that he intended to revamp this. and he knew where the weaknesses were and how they worked, and they did not want their fiefdom interfered with at all. They had to either, like the note said, are we going to just get him fired, or do we got to get him, manipulate him into lying to us so that we can prosecute him? Bottom line is, we cannot let him be the NSA director, because he will fix everything. Not only will he fix everything and revamp everything, but he will see all the dirty tricks that have been going on. He will be privy to the lying, the setup, the criminal behavior that happened in the first place. They couldn't let him take office.
Wouldn't it be something if he pardoned him and then appointed him now?
Yeah, I would love to see him pardon him and then appoint him FBI director.
Yeah.
That would be the best. If not, at least bring him back in some capacity. Absolutely. But now, because of Judge Emmett here, right, he may have to get a pardon. It may get to the point that this judge is so
here's
ridiculous.
the other problem. Until the judge sentences him, he can't pardon him.
Yeah, that's the problem with that. So they've got to push. They've got to bring this to a resolution. You cannot run the clock out, and that's what they're trying to do. We have less than 6 months.
That's exactly what they're trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so the judge should be hit on that and say, look, sentence him or else. We're going to give it to another judge.
Thank goodness this attorney Pollock, she's done an incredible job, and good for her. I mean, unbelievable work that she's done. This has got to be taken out of this judge's courtroom. It's got to have a change of venue. He's got to be censured at minimum, if not impeached. It has to happen. They got to push this, and hopefully, look, they keep telling us more is coming, right? But we'll see. I think there's a lot more that Attorney Barr is planning on, and he's got his guys that he's appointed to investigate this, and they all have real stuff. Not like when we were told Comey has a great reputation. If you knew him from the Boston days, you knew he doesn't.
Oh, I know.
So.
But here again, a lot of this stuff may come out in the summer months when nobody's really watching.
I don't know if they can get away with not watching. This is just.
I know.
Have you ever seen a political climate like this? I don't think there's going to be a summer lull. First of all, if we're all stuck in our homes, right?
Well,
there's no
that's the other
distractions. We're not
go.
going away. We're not at the beach.
How many people are going to want to wear a mask in a hot, humid summer day?
Or on the beach.
Or on the yeah.
Always on
Can you
the
imagine?
beach. Are you going to go swimming with a mask on?
You're going to be burnt all around.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You'll see all these people.
You'll be all dark heads and big white lip area, right?
People walking around with this big white patch on their face.
No.
Oh. I mean, well, the Cape now, there's talk about putting up signs on the beaches saying no loitering.
Yeah, I heard something about that, which...
Does that make any sense?
Can you loiter on it? So, do they want you to go to the beach, but you're not allowed to stop? Is this the goal?
Yeah.
That
Well,
you have
right
to
now,
keep walking?
That's what it says now. You can walk on the beach, but you can't stop.
Yeah, so by putting up the loitering there, they can go ticket you for that.
Yeah.
You're getting pushback by police now. Even the police officers are saying, "You really? First of all, I can't enforce a law that isn't really a law. That just somebody in the chain of command makes it up, and it's totally unconstitutional. Plus, I took an oath to defend the Constitution, not work against it. What is going on?" And the people aren't going to pay attention.
Well, that's the other thing. We're putting police into a very bad situation.
Yeah.
To have to go out and enforce the wearing of a mask.
Yeah.
Now, they're doing it in Lawrence.
Walking down the street like they...
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to get fined.
For the record, I have not...
You're getting fined $300.
Yeah. I haven't worn a mask driving alone in my car. What am I supposed to put a little one on Teddy too?
Yeah.
Right. So I don't do that. I did walking through a parking lot. I don't wear a mask. I go check my P.O. box. I don't wear a mask. There's nobody near me.
But you can't go into any stores.
They did. Walmart told me I had to, and then I stopped at the liquor store, and he said, "Oh, it's a law. We can't serve you." I said, "First of all, it's not a law. But you as a store can decide whatever your policy is. That's fine."
The thing. Everybody's saying it's the law. It's not the law. It's an executive order.
Yeah, it's an executive order, and it doesn't pass constitutional muster.
Now, the legislature could turn around and pass a law.
And still, that wouldn't pass constitutional muster.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure how that would work.
Well, first of all, the government cannot, they cannot legislate you into buying anything. Okay.
Well, what about
Second of all-
Obamacare?
Well, that was the whole argument. That's why it was called a tax.
Yeah.
He had to go bend over backwards, right, in order to call it a tax so that it could be legal. If it was called what it is, and that is a forced fee to pay for this, to make you buy it, then that would be unconstitutional.
Yeah.
So they can't make you buy stuff, and then they cannot force you, right?
Well,
That's another thing, Harry. Where is that crowd, right? My body, my decision.
Yeah.
Where are you? Where are you on this?
Well, they're all set because you can't go in and get an operation, a heart operation,
But you can get an abortion.
but you can get an abortion.
And Pelosi's trying to put tens of millions of dollars to Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
The abortion clinics.
So, I mean, I can't get a massage, but you can get an abortion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you telling me, oh, okay, the doctor will wear a mask during the abortion.
They do anyway, right?
Yeah.
They already do anyway.
Well, my masseur can wear a
yeah,
mask.
and they can wear a mask. That's what I'm saying. The gyms, everybody, they will make the adjustments to what they need to
Right.
do. I watched a gym owner, I forget, he was on one of the morning talk shows, and he's defying. He's opening up. He's like, this is you. If you can go to Walmart and you can go to the grocery store and have, why can't you? And he changed his gym around. He took equipment out, so there's a large distance, over 6 feet between machines. He takes the temperature when going in, right? He put all these things in order, and he's going to defy and open up. And we're watching this go on in Maine now too, right?
Yes.
Where the gentleman, oh, his name's escaped me, the brewing company, but he's encouraging all the other restaurants to defy the governor's order because it's just and what she's trying to do, and it was funny how he said this, so that she's trying to get the legislature to come back in so they can do some emergency legislation. They took his liquor license away. They want to put him in a position where they can arrest him, so therefore he can't get a liquor license. You see what I'm saying? So they're really
yeah, now he's
playing and
convicted
messing with
felon.
him. So he'll just put the license in somebody else's names like everyone does, right?
Yeah.
You can't get one, and get around it. But look, there's got to be a point here, people, that the governors, including our own Governor Parker, Baker is overstepped boundaries. Now, again, you have every right to stay in your house, to wipe everything down you touch, to require anybody that wants to come near you to be masked up. That's your call. But stop imposing what you think is the right thing to do on free citizens.
I mean, Michigan, you can't buy flowers.
Yeah, the list is ridiculous, right? Well, look at just the difference between Rhode Island and Massachusetts for the
Yeah.
golf course, right? And why was a golf course? I could say in the pro shop, you can only have 20 or 30% of your occupancy, what you're set up for, or you can only have 3 customers at a time, or you set a table outside to sign them in, whatever. But why can't you golf? You're in the sunlight in acres, by definition, tens of acres of open air space, right? You don't have to, put 2 guys in a cart. You can have 1 guy to a cart. You can walk it, whatever. Why were they ever closed to begin with? And why are the beaches closed? It's not swimming that's the problem, right? Go back. You can put that in and say, look, you need to just, you can't congregate with 20 people in a 30-foot square area. I get that. But don't tell people they can't use the water. It makes no sense.
Yeah, you limit how many people can go on the beach so that they're spread out.
Yeah, that's fine.
And
Density.
families should be able to sit together. They're living together.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You got houses full of people. Exactly.
But you know who's going to really get hurt by this is the theater industry.
They've already hurt. I've talked about this.
How do they come back?
Well, how do they come back? But I think you're going to see a resurgence of drive-in theaters.
Well, that's already happening.
Yeah, it's already happening in some
Right
places.
over here
yeah.
in Mendon, they're opening up the drive-in.
Yeah.
But he's going to space the cars. But he's going to be hurt because he can't go to capacity now.
You can't go to capacity, and then you got the whole food. They make a lot of their money from the
Yeah.
the concession. So he's got to look at that too.
Well, there you'll have to have a line, you'll have to wait and space out the line.
Six people and so forth.
We have an ice cream place in town that opened up, he's doing that, I guess they drive in and they take a number. I went to Shaw's today, you no longer pull a number at the deli, you just place your order, and then you have to come back later and pick it up in a special area where they put your assembled order together while you're shopping.
Huh.
So nobody's standing out in front of the deli.
I think that's a pretty good service. I wish they had done it all along that
Yeah.
way. That would have been convenient.
But then they have a sign on the way out saying, "Don't forget your deli order."
Yeah, right, because a lot of people would have done that, yeah.
Oh, I forgot I put a deli order in.
Yeah, that makes sense. No, look, bottom line on that is it's time to let stores open up, let them take their responsibilities and figure it out. Plus, you know what? You're all grown people, so take responsibility for your own actions. Nobody's telling you got to do this. If you want to stay in your house, stay in your house. If you don't want to touch anybody, I'm okay with the handshaking going away. Even Fauci said that, you know.
Yep.
I never liked all the touching and handshaking that went on with that anyway.
Well, being a salesman,
Well, you
did it all my life.
a
but-
million times a day.
Yeah,
Right, yeah,
but
yeah.
I can live without it. I went to see a customer today and we never shook hands. And
I'm okay with a hand gesture.
We didn't even get close to each other.
Yeah.
We stayed 6 feet
Yeah,
apart.
I'm okay with the you know, just a hand gesture of some type, a wave, you know, just a greeting and a goodbye. You
Yep.
can do that. That's all fine. Even if COVID's totally gone and all that, it's nothing to do with it. It's probably just a good idea because, you know, not that anybody has died from the flu this year, by the way, right? Or that all of a
That's
sudden,
it.
magically, nobody dies from the flu or.
And this
or-
was supposed to be a bad year. Remember last fall? They
Yeah.
said this is going to be a bad year for this flu. It's a lot of strains. The flu shot may not help. I hardly heard anybody getting it.
So, yeah.
That's why,
Crazy.
you know, I think they had to do this because, geez, we got beat up on the flu. We didn't get anything there, so we got to come up with something else.
Well, you know, look at I mean, I got into this last week's show of pandemic versus pandemic. And, you know, it's interesting stuff because this CARES bill that was just signed, right? The Corona Aid and Recovery Economic Act, by the way, this was actually written and initially introduced to the legislature, meaning the United States House of Representatives, 14 months ago.
Yeah.
Okay, 14 months ago.
Yeah.
In January of 2019. So you think that this CARES Act was just created in response to the pandemic. Over a year ago, it was put on the floor. You can go to the Congress.gov, and you can go HR 748. Go check it out. You can see the submission date. You can see it move through. And all of a sudden, everybody's kind of led to believe that this was just written and created for this pandemic. So how does that work?
Yeah.
How does that work? And it make reference to, I don't know if you ever heard of the Lockstep report from the Rockefeller Center, but Lockstep outlines the exact this in order to gain control over the population. And it was always said, right? The joke was always, look, if the powers to be, if they ever see civil unrest getting, you know, people getting a little too uppity for everybody, that there would be a H1N1 or a pandemic. And Lockstep outlines just how a pandemic is used to make people voluntarily get in line.
Yes.
To control, right? You're not going out. The voting gets controlled. You're in your home. The food comes under control. Healthcare, you're afraid to move. You're willingly giving up your rights for protection and to be safe and secure. Pandemic does this. And then it's so hard to undo. Look at 9/11, we're still living with those measures that were taken after 9/11, the Patriot Act, right? We're okay with how much invasion of our privacy happens today because of 9/11. Those things that were put
Well,
into
not
place have
100%
stuck
of
with
us.
us.
Not 100% of us.
Yeah. I'm
But
saying
here again,
right, you and I aren't.
No.
But we as a society have not revolted and said, undo this stuff. You know, there's a little risk to this, but, you know, we're
Well,
getting
here
away
again
from
now.
the Constitution.
You know, I tell the doctor always says to me, "You're getting your flu shot," and he says, No, because the last time I got the flu was when I got the flu shot.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't gotten it in 10 years, and I haven't had the flu for 10 years. But they want to have a immunization card,
Yeah.
and you're going to be required to get this.
Card to enter into federal buildings and then probably
Yeah.
businesses and so forth.
So now, this virus, the vaccine they're going to come up with, actually is going to inject you with the virus.
Yeah.
That's what the flu shot does. That's why people get the flu shot and end up with the flu.
No, look,
Not to mention what else is in it.
yeah, and the doctor will explain a million times. They've tried to explain to me it's inert and it's a dead virus, but it builds up. You're still putting it in my system. I refuse
Yeah.
the flu shot.
Yeah. And if it's a dead virus, how come people get sick from it?
Yeah.
And what else is in that serum?
Well, think about that, right? You willingly turn your arm over and you let them inject you, and you really don't know what's in that. And now,
Right.
and this is something else, right? The whole supply chain and all this that we've come to realize what President Trump told us, right? Secure our borders, bring back manufacturing, bring it back, buy American, stop counting on other countries. Put that aside, put a pin in that. We're finding out how much of our medical prescriptions aren't even made in this country, and they're coming from China and other places,
Yeah.
and we don't really know
And you
what
don't have any
is in
choice.
that. And you don't have a choice, and we willingly put our arm up and say, inject me, even though I have absolutely not only don't I have any idea what's in this, but neither does the person injecting you. That nurse or doctor really don't know what's in it, because
Right.
it's just part of a batch that's got sent, and as long as it's labeled with what they want to put in you, they're going to inject you with it.
I take certain vitamin supplements. I go to buy them. I look the label, made in China, made in China. I don't want it.
No.
I have a hard time finding USA made.
Yeah. You've got to go online to a few of these there are a few companies that are
Yeah,
American-made products and so forth.
I have a doctor of natural medicine that I've seen, and she gave me a website. And it's expensive.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to pay it because I know I'm getting credible stuff.
Yeah.
And now we're talking, the Chinese were trying to infiltrate our computer systems to find out about the vaccine. Because you know what they want to do? They want to have an exclusive on it.
Yeah, they want to come up with the cure. I mean, don't forget that they destroyed all that paperwork,
Yeah.
all those files about it. They lied about it.
So now they're going to manufacture the vaccine that the government's going to force me to take.
Mm-hmm. And they're gonna end up making all kinds of money. Look at China. Absolutely is not a friendly nation. They are, in essence, at war with us, in just not a conventional manner that we're used to. And thank God, nobody wants to see a traditional conventional war. But we have to get up with the times, and that's why a lot has to be brought back. And some of the due diligence that applied to certain things with the military has to be applied across just the economy and across business in general, and that is supply chains and supply lines and manufacturing. And why can we not make at least a minimum percentage of all of the medication that is available today has to be manufactured
Look at the
within our
jobs
borders?
you bring back.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had a situation, Astra was right over here in Westboro. Place was going to be an Amazon distribution center now, over by WCRN. But they were making drugs there. They pulled out.
Oh yeah, Astro. Actually, I remember him. It was their president got in a little trouble about the same time that Bill Clinton did.
Yes.
And what Bill Clinton did was 100 times worse than what this guy. But he had to resign
Yeah.
from the presidency of Astra. Talk about your double standard there, right? The hypocrisy there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But, I mean, all these jobs that would
Yeah.
come back. You've got high unemployment now. Well, here's a chance to.
Well, look at Elon Musk, what he just did, right? He said, I'm opening up my plant. This is ridiculous. People can
Right.
work. He went down and said, if anyone's going to get arrested, it will be me.
I'm
He'll
on the
go
line,
down.
arrest me.
I'll be on there. And now he's talking about moving his plant out of California.
Yeah.
California is losing businesses after business. All that's going to be left there are very wealthy Hollywood people and the homeless. And the homeless are spreading. I mean, they're not going to get into Pelosi's gated mansion on the ocean, but it's right down the street from her,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, along with the defecation all over the streets.
Oh, yeah. We're worried about COVID-19, but they just changed the rules, the ordinance, so that you can defecate in public,
Yeah,
in the street, in the gutter. You can do that. But we're worried about COVID-19, masking up and disinfecting everything. But if you're eating lunch al fresco in San Francisco, someone can be going right outside your table.
the biggest improvement to health in this country was the introduction of indoor plumbing.
True.
And now we're gonna go the other way in California.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, isn't
On
it?
a lot, yeah, they're reversing the trend on so many things. But look at, you got, Senator Cruz and the other great politicians of the great state of Texas, more than welcome to bring these businesses to Texas. They're recruiting them. Nevada's getting California businesses. Colorado is. Arizona is. They're all getting them. California is just, and not only are the taxes ridiculous, but they regulate these businesses. I mean, just incredible amounts.
I
of
just read an
regulation.
article about when the movie industry first started, it actually headquartered in Jacksonville, Florida. A lot of people don't know that because they wanted to get out of the north. They actually started New
They
Jersey.
needed the weather, yeah.
But the weather, so they started, located in Jacksonville, became very popular, and a number of movie companies were down there. But the people got tired of them because they wanted to shoot on location. They would close streets during the day.
Mm-hmm.
They would interrupt lives and different things like that. So they got irritated and they started making it tough on the movie companies. So they said, well, we'll find another place.
Yeah.
Well, they did. They found a place called Hollywood.
Yeah. But now there's also a move to Atlanta's getting huge, right? You got
Yeah.
Tyler Perry out there who some old base or something, he's converted to studios.
Yeah.
And a great deal number of things are now being shot in Georgia, right? You've got that going on. Massachusetts. We've gone under a
The reason
huge
Massachusetts
thing
got it
is
is
the
because
tax.
the tax. Yeah, they changed the
Yeah.
way they tax.
Yeah, and they also changed on the income tax because these Hollywood actor would come in a few weeks, shoot in Massachusetts, make $20 million on the,
They have to pay tax.
and then Massachusetts would send him a bill,
Mass
and that's
income
just
tax.
wrong. And look at what Cuomo's doing to the people who
volunteered to come
to New York. He's not giving up there. He wants them to pay income tax to the state of New York.
Yeah.
Good, unbelievable.
Yeah.
There has to be a point, folks, where just common sense has got to win once in a while.
I know.
It's just got to come into play, guys. Occasionally. I'll take it occasionally. That's a win. If every third or fourth stupid thing you do, common sense checks it and comes into play, it would be better than what we have now.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, we're going to be wrapping it up, Joe.
Yeah, I see that.
You can listen to Joe every weekend.
Oh, every
Saturday
weekend.
and Sunday
Saturday and Sunday
morning.
mornings, 6 to 8 Saturday, 7 to 8 on Sunday. Thursdays on the Jerry Doherty's of Making Money Last from 11 to noon. And when we get through COVID, should be back to the roundtable 8 a.m. Fridays with Hank Stoltz in the political roundtable where I am outnumbered as the lonely conservative.
I noticed that.
So,
But he does a good job. He stands up to it.
well, I got to tell you, the first couple of times I was trying to get a lay of the land. And then I realized it's not about debating the policies or the mindset of conservative liberal. It's just beating up Trump and trying to get a gotcha moment every time they could. That's all that is. It seems to be.
And we'll have Joe back in September. And we'll
Well,
be
the
back
whole
in
weekend.
September.
The
and
whole
hopefully,
summer off.
Yeah.
I can't go anywhere, though.
And by then we'll be unmasked, I hope.
I'm refusing to wear a mask. Driving alone in my car. I see these jamokes and I'm like, oh, man.
Okay.